Good evening, fight fans. This is Chris Guzman with your weekly Thursday night ejection of boxing talk, updates, and all-out arguments. This is your Bolo Punch Boxing Hour, brought to you by George Rogie Insurance. It is Thursday night, May the 29th, 2008. We are live from the Golden Leaf, 6 and 51 in Hobart, Indiana, the finest cigar shop this side of anywhere. And we are 7 days and counting from our live show from the International Boxing Hall of Fame, Canastota, New York, for the induction ceremony of Larry Holmes, Eddie Perkins, piles of other boxing dignitaries. Emil Sarapapinski-Kagaman will be making the drive with us this year. Well, what's up with you, man?
Not much, man. Before the show, we were talking about how much gas is going to cost us for this ride. It's going to be a big difference.
No, we got a big budget on this show, man. Come on.
It's going to be a big difference between this year and last year for the gas price, but we're going to still make the trip. See Larry Holmes, a big heavyweight of his era, man.
The heavyweight name of the 80s.
Yeah.
What, he held the belt for, what, 8-9 years?
Yeah.
Fought everyone there was to fight?
Everyone and anyone.
Well, very interesting that you bring up Larry Holmes right off the bat, because I was doing a painting. Those of you that know me know that I paint the fighters and love showing them, love getting them to autograph them.
And they always want to keep the painting.
It's very rare that someone signs it and says, "Oh, that's cool. All right, bye." Generally speaking, they want to just. I mean, when I walked up to Pacquiao last Wednesday, I showed him the painting I had done of him, and he says, "You're going to sell it to me, right?" I said, "But I'll most definitely make you another one, and then I'll send it to you, whatever." I just want a picture of the fighter holding it up against their wall, in their house.
Yeah, that's still pretty cool, though. Pacquiao going to have one of your paintings hanging up in his house.
I think that'd be pretty cool. An original Guzman, yes. Original Guzman. But speaking of Larry Holmes, today I was in my classroom. I had a couple of minutes of downtime, so I pulled out the painting and started working on the Larry Holmes portion of it. It's the 4 big heavyweights that are going to be there this year: Larry Holmes, Ken Norton, Jerry Cooney, and one of the underrated heavyweights of the era, Ron Lyle, who was just a crazy heavyweight.
Crazy man.
Gave Foreman all he could handle, and
that's whose autograph I won on the boxing message board this year.
So you got a Ron Lyle signed photo. See, I don't have his autograph on anything, so you're doing pretty well. But I asked. Actually, I was just painting it, and one of my second grade kids, named Emmanuel, came on up to me, and he says, "Who is that? Is that a wrestler?" I said, "No, that's a boxer. They wear the gloves. They run around. They just hit each other. They don't throw each other around or anything." And he goes, "Who's that?" And I said, "That's Larry Holmes. He's like one of the best heavyweights of all time." And he says, "I bet Tyke Myson could beat him."
Tyke Myson, huh?
I said, is he related to Mike Tyson? He goes, yeah, that guy. I was like, okay, Tyke Myson. I'm writing that crap down, because that's funny. And then he said, "I also bet that light-skinned guy could beat him." I'm like, I don't know who you're talking about, the light-skinned guy. This is an inner-city little boy. Speaks a little bit differently than I do. Light-skinned is a word that I've come to understand as light-skinned, And he says, "Yeah, the one with the daughter that fights too. His name's Donnie." I said, "Okay." It sounded like Ali for a second, but then I was like, "I don't know who you're talking about." He goes, "Donnie, Donnie, the famous guy." And he starts whispering with his buddy, and they go, "Mahana Dani." I'm like, oh my God, Mahana Dani. Now, when you hear the inflection of Muhammad Ali, you know what he's trying to say. And I said, "Do you mean Muhammad Ali?" He goes, "Yeah, the one that yelled a lot." It's like, well, I said, you could have just said that, and I know exactly what you're talking about. But Muhammad Ali, there you go. There you go. And right here in the middle, I've got the former State of Indiana middleweight champion. I've got the gentleman fighting school teacher of DeMont, Indiana, Jimmy Holmes. Jimmy, what is up with you tonight?
Oh, not too much, man. Looking forward to next week. It's going to be a good fun time.
Wally World, here we come. Jimmy, real quick, it's okay to let this out of the bag that the DeMont Boxing Club is a reality. It's going to be a reality very soon.
Yeah, looking forward to...
Get the word out right here.
Looking forward to getting it open. Probably we're going to do it this summer. Probably first, right when school starts up. we'll be open, ready to go.
Okay.
Where's this at?
Being a school teacher, I'm not
Is it in your
interested
shed
in
or
thinking
what?
about. I'm
No.
not interested in thinking about when school starts up again.
Yeah, right. Either am I. So that's
In
why
your
I'm
shed.
No, it's located outside the town limits of DeMont, but it's a good location. You know, right in the middle of Rensselaer, DeMont, Roselawn.
Rural, to say the least.
Rural, yeah. But no, it's going to work out good. We got a lot of people wanting to do it. So
Outstanding. Well, we're going to be talking about Hall of Fame and what it means to us and the kinds of things that we're going to be expecting. I got a couple of headlines here first. David Hay announced after his fight with Enzo Macronelli a couple of month and a half ago, maybe, and that's when the whole world found out who David Hay was. I mean, we had seen him fight before, but
That's basically when he decided he was going to step up to heavyweight.
his big coming out party. He smacks around Enzo Macronelli in grand fashion, in a way that most people did not think would end up happening. And then he announces, I'm going to heavyweight, Klitschko, I'm coming for you. Now, to say that David Hay is built is like saying, you know, a car has four wheels. It doesn't really cover it. He is exceptionally built. He's got more abs than, like, a swim team.
Yeah, he's a pretty well cut up guy.
Very, very well cut. He has just signed with Golden Boy. So we were wondering what promotional facility he was going to go with, and now we know he is going to sign with Oscar De La Hoya's promotional company, Golden Boy, and he wants to tear up this heavyweight division from one
It's
side
going to be a
the
little
next.
bit easier being with Golden Boy. It means that he's going to have a little bit easier time signing these fights, and
He's going to get the fight that he wants,
yeah, he's
when
going to
he
be able
wants
to
it.
pick what, just throw the dart at the board and pick who he wants, basically.
And essentially he'll be able to get closer to the money that he feels he deserves. So, well, Jimmy can talk about the importance of a good promoter.
well, yeah.
You've heard about it, right?
Well, he's actually worked with a couple different promoters. And so
I'm just kidding, yes.
No, you know, the ultimate goal of every fighter is to make some money. You know, I mean, they want recognition, but they want to make some money. They don't want to be fighting for, you know,
Just to
McDonald's
get
lunches.
punched.
You know, I mean,
you don't get in there just to get a black
no,
eye.
I mean, when
That's just bonus.
when
And I got smacked up.
when you're training for a fight for 6 or 7 weeks, it's like being on a job for 6 or 7 weeks, expecting, okay, if the job's done, I want to get some money. Who's going to go out there and work for 6 or 7 weeks for, you know, $300-400? Nobody wants to do that. You know, everybody wants to. I mean, they want to make some money doing it. So, you know, I'm right with him there.
Well, being a school teacher, I know what lack of funds
exactly
feels like.
Exactly.
So you being a boxer and a school teacher,
You're really lacking the funds.
no big deal. Next up on the docket, oh, by the way, we're going to be playing our Manny Pacquiao interview here in about a minute and a half.
Or when Tim sits down the sandwich.
Little cue there. We're going to be playing in about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, something like that.
That sandwich will be going faster.
Yeah. In case you missed it, I was at the Manny Pacquiao, the David Diaz Manny Pacquiao press conference in Chicago last
Does that mean you're
Wednesday.
betting on David?
That means that I'm calling it what it really is.
You're calling
David
it.
Diaz is the champion. Pacquiao's moving up in weight, and he is challenging. So
Exactly.
it is. As of now, let's call it what it is. It's the David Diaz Manny Pacquiao press conference for their fight. It's going to be on July the 28th, and we will see what there is to see on that. Zab Judah, who somehow smashed his arm through a shower door, or something to that effect, getting 48 to 52 stitches, depending on where you're reading, has decided, well, when he pulled out 2 weeks of his fight with Shane Mosley because of all the stitches, you can understand that. He can't be fighting with 1,000 stitches in his arm. But now he has decided that he wants to fight Joshua Kaladi. Emil, in your estimation, is this a harder fight than the Mosley fight, or is this an easier fight?
I don't know if it's a harder fight. I think it's a step over fight. I think Clottey and Mosley kind of have the same kind of skills. The problem is there's a lot less risk if you lose to Shane Mosley. You know, if you lose to Mosley, you can come back in there on your high horse. You lost to a legend of the sport. You lose to Joshua Clottey, he hasn't quite built himself up to that yet. You know, so it's going to be a big step down.
The thing is, people know about Clottey. They know how dangerous he is.
Insiders know about Clottey.
Okay.
But the casual fan doesn't. I mean, he had a great fight with Margarito. Other than that, a lot of people don't know about Clottey.
Jimmy, what do you think? Does Zab Judah stand to lose more losing to a young lion who isn't a household name yet, or lose more by losing a fight to a legend like Sugar Shane?
I think I agree with Emil here. You know, people that don't follow boxing and don't really know boxing, the name Sugar Shane Mosley comes up. You know, people say, yeah, you know, he's a fighter. They bring up Clottey's name, and most people would say, I don't know, he works down at the grocery store or something. Who knows? You know,
he might. He hasn't been fighting much lately.
But you know, I mean, you know, if Clottey, I think, had a couple big wins, you know, it'd be a different story. But you know, a couple, you know, right now, if he won a couple huge fights, sure, you know, that would be huge. But you know, Mosley's a huge name, and right along with Emil on that.
Would beating Mosley at this point for Judah be better than beating Clottey?
Oh yeah, it would be.
What I'm telling you right now is that I think Clottey could beat Sugar Shane.
You think so?
So of the two fighters, I think if they
Clottey
were to
does have the #1 ranking in, I want to say it's
WBA.
WBA, is that
If the two were to fight each other, I think Clottey would be victorious. That doesn't mean anything to the casual boxing fan. They go with who they know. That's why there were so many pay-per-view buys for Trinidad against Jones. Not that that fight mattered in any way at all.
Just big names.
It's just names. So if Judah fights Mosley, he has more money to gain, more recognition to gain, and he's just going to get noticed more for if he were to pull out a win. But if he were to lose to Mosley, it'd almost be like you were saying, he lost to like one of the best ever. It's okay. He's already lost to Cotto. Judah's lost a couple times.
Yeah, he lost to Mayweather as well.
He got messed over by Mayweather.
Yeah, pretty bad. But recently he's lost quite a few times. He stepped up to the plate on these top elite fighters, and he's come up short each time. But the problem is that he was going to take another elite fighter and he was going to fight him.
Yeah. And
he decided to take a step back, and that guy that he's taking a step back to is just as dangerous. If you're going to
for different reasons too. So that's not even the same fight. The way you were training for Shane is not how you can train for
Clottey's pure busy fighter.
Oh man, too many shots. I would never. I mean, I'm not fighting any of these fools, but I would never want to go into a fight with Clottey, whether he had a belt or not. Just so many punches. Anyone who's going to hit you possibly 60 times in a round, I don't want anything to do with that.
Bottom line, it's a bad decision by Zab to step back to Clottey. If you're going to step back,
bottom line on your paper, maybe. I think on my paper, definitely it's a lateral move or even a better move, because the boxing insiders are going to say, and I consider myself one of them, that Zab Judah is not looking for an easy fight right now. And it almost seems that he sort of was when he was fighting Shane, because Shane is coming off of a big loss of Cotto. So for Judah...
Who's beat Cotto?
Well, I'm just saying. I think Judah fighting Mosley is almost a cutesy fight. I think Judah fighting Clottey is much more dangerous, much more to lose, in agreement with you, because not as many people know who Clottey is. I think Judah's got more to lose in this case.
It's getting him one step closer to getting a belt, that's for sure, because...
Yeah, Shane is not... I don't know where Shane's ranked right now.
Yeah, and Clottey's ranked #1. What'd you say, WBA?
Yeah.
So at least he's going to...
I believe it's the WBA.
He's at least going to be one step closer to getting a belt.
We'll know tomorrow when someone corrects me on YouTube. And thirdly, the press conference for David Diaz against Manny Pacquiao, which is going to be in July. On July the 28th, I believe, is the date.
For the press conference or the fight? The actual fight is, it's June 28th.
June 20th. Why am I saying July 20th? It's June 28th. That's the fight. And I had the chance to talk with Manny Pacquiao. It's only about a minute and a half. But tell me whenever you're ready.
Hi, this is Chris Guzman, Bolo Punch Boxing Hour. I'm here right now with Manny Pacquiao. How are you doing today? Good. Excellent, excellent. I've got to know. Tell me what you say to fans that think that maybe moving up to lightweight might be just a bit much for even Pac-Man.
Well, the moving up the weight, I want to show the people that I can still fight in 135 pounds and not even 135 pounds. I can I can get a belt in 135 pounds. So we'll do my best.
You don't take easy fights, do you? Because you just had a war with Marquez, and now you're going for a belt. I mean, you don't. There's other fighters we could name that we're not going to that will take an easy fight to warm up just to stay warm, and then they go for a belt. That's not your style at all.
It's not my style. I consider this fight one of the important fight and difficult fight because David Diaz is also a good fighter and strong, and he's a world champion. So I don't want to underestimate, and I don't want to give a confidence on this fight.
Well, we thank you so much for taking the time. You have a lot more people here that want to talk to you. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you, Chris.
So you get a little bit of slice of his brainwaves right there. You get to hear from the man himself what he's looking to do against David Diaz. He understands that this is going to be an all-out war. He knows he's not going in there with a boxing genius. He's going in there with a slugger, which essentially he is. Can they both box? Well, sure, if they had to. But this is going to be two guys that square up their shoulders, two guys that stand flat-footed for the most part. Neither of these guys can really fight going backwards.
Well,
neither of them can.
Well,
and they're going to throw bombs.
I actually on YouTube we had some comments there about David saying he's an amateur type fighter, but this guy has a title. And when he fought Eric Morales, he proved that the only trouble he had was with a taller guy using his jab. And Pacquiao's not going to do that against him. Pacquiao's
not going to box.
No, he's going to try to step forward and fight the same type of fight David had. It's proven that he can fight that fight.
Yes, he's not. Pacquiao's not moving up to lightweight to show that he can coast to an easy decision. I'm telling you, he wants to prove that his dynamite in right and left hand, respectively, is able to hang with. I mean, it's weird to call 135-pound guys bigger guys, but they are bigger guys, and they're not guys that he is used to fighting.
And as David said, it's not the first guy that's came up here to try to take his fourth title at fourth different weight class. It's not going to happen.
David Diaz said it beautifully right there at the press conference. You can go on our website right there, and you can watch the entire video. Emil actually posted it for us. He says, yeah, I remember a guy, a legend, that moved on up to get his fourth title against me, and you see what he's doing. He's sitting at home in Mexico, sitting there with a margarita right now.
Yeah, complaining about a decision.
Yeah, yeah, him and his complaint are sitting on a lawn chair right now. I mean, David Diaz was a lot more respectful about it than I just was, and no disrespect or unlove to Eric El Terrible Morales, but come on now. David Diaz is not someone you just go through. Now, to be fair, Morales was close to going out anyway. He was close to retirement. Pacquiao is not close to retirement. No. So it might help David Diaz sleep a little at night to say, well, last guy that tried that, he's on a beach blanket right now. But at the end of the day, he knows that this is not the same.
That guy was already close to. He already had that blanket in his car.
The lunchbox was packed,
and Diaz had some trouble.
There were some problems.
Diaz had some trouble with Eric Morales.
He almost had a 10-8 round that first round until he got knocked down himself. Very, very weird round.
Yeah, he was winning at 10-8. Is what you're saying?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I believe he was winning. He was definitely winning the round, 10-9 minimum. And one of the three judges could have had it at 10-8 going if Diaz hadn't, been knocked down real quick. It was a flash knockdown, but it was clean. He did go down.
And one of the judges actually scored, I believe, a 9-9 round, and there were some complaints about that as well. But that's actually kind of how
that's officially correct. It would have to be. Diaz was winning the round, but then he got knocked down. That's 9-9. Now, if you are losing the round and get knocked down, that's your basic 10-8.
Yeah.
But if you're winning the round but get knocked down, speaking as a former judge, I think you have to put your name on the stamp of 9-9 right there. It sort of sucks because it's like, well, okay, it's like that round didn't even happen.
Yeah.
It's just like your basic Larry Merchant. I'm going to give it a 10-10. Well, thank you. You just took away the one reason
Thanks for
why
not making up your mind.
you took away the one reason why we have these as even numbered rounds, which is a good thing, actually. I'd like them better if they were odd.
Yeah.
If they were odd numbers, because then there would be fewer draws. It wouldn't totally alleviate draws, but you got a better shot at it at least. So, any more thoughts on Diaz and Pacquiao?
It's going to be a great fight. Two straightforward fighters.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, well, I like the point, though, that Morales was on his way out, and Pacquiao isn't. And so I think Diaz is going to have his hands full.
Pacquiao hits a little bit harder than Morales did, too.
Yeah, but will it translate to lightweight? That's always the question. Will it? It's only 5 pounds, but it could be a very important 5 pounds. Let's take the first break of our night, and we'll be right back with all the fights that got us through the week. Little Ricky Hatton action, little Paulie Malignaggi action, Jason Estrada,
stupid hair,
and some crazy Predator style hair. We'll be right back at you. It's your Bolo Punch Boxing Hour, brought to you by George Rogie Insurance. www.hssb.cc sportsjuice.com.